Welcome back, everybody, as we continue on up the Tower of Fanatics. I don't know why I lost it near the end and forgot what the name was. It's the Tower of Fanatics. And, of course, happy Thursday to everybody. I hope everybody's had a good week so far. We're almost done, and it's T-minus so many hours until Nintendo fans rejoice. The Nintendo Switch will be in your hands, and you will be able to enjoy it. I personally am looking forward to that, but I know that some places are doing like midnight releases, but unfortunately, Andrea has to work nights, so I'm not going to be able to do any of that, and I have to wait until tomorrow morning to pick up my Nintendo Switch. But I am nonetheless excited. I hope you guys are too. Despite the fact that there will be some features missing, I'm still optimistic for the system. I think it'll still do I'm hoping fairly well, but I obviously do have my worries because it is Nintendo and I want them to be able to be successful. And we have just barely reached the top of the Tower of Fanatics. And we've gotten one of the best relics in the game, the Gem Box, which allows for X-Magic. X-Magic, for those who don't know what it is basically your character can cast 2 spells within 1 round. So in other words, you want to put this on your best caster, which to me has always been Terra, because of the morph feature. So she gets the Gem Box, but before we leave, well, our friends here have something to say about that. Yep, you don't get to leave here without some kind of a fight, even though you've been fighting your way all the way up. Master Kefka's treasure, return it now. Now you have to earn it, and if you thought that just making your way up the tower was earning it, that's funny. So we're going to have a little bit of a boss fight right now. And thankfully, it's not going to be too hard. If you walked in here unprepared, it is going to kick your butt. I did a little bit, but thankfully, I was able to make up for it because I have been working my butt off and grinding. The only thing that I would advise that you do, you have to walk in, basically, in my opinion, with 2 spells in this one. Life 3, because when this guy gets near the end, he will do like a kamikaze attack, and it is Ultima. It is the best spell in the game, the best black magic spell in the game, and if you are not prepared for it, it will easily kill you. So that's why I say Life 3 is a must, because if you die, Life 3 will resurrect you, in case you didn't know that. So that's kind of the progression here. Life will give you some life. Life 2 will fully restore you, minus magic points. And then Life 3, when you die, it will restore you, I believe, to a certain amount of health, but not full health. As you can see, this guy's already packing a major punch. But now that we have Ultima, or now that we have everybody with Life 3, we're now going to nuke this guy with Ultima. That's the second spell I would recommend that you have. Like I said, this guy uses it, but only once. But you could easily gain an advantage in this fight by using Ultima. Because for you, it's a guaranteed 9999. And I know that there's going to be people out there screaming like, that's cheating, you should have to fight him using the wall change mechanic. Why do I want to? Ultima is non-elemental damage, and it's a guaranteed 9999. Why would I do that? Well, what about Vanish Doom? I actually don't think Vanish Doom works on this guy. There are a few bosses where it doesn't work, people. In fact, people might remember the boss in Doma Castle. I didn't use that. He had a different mechanic where I could X-zone him. But in this case, Vanish Doom, I don't actually think works on the Magimaster. So that's why I go with 2 spells, Life 3 and Ultima. And that way, you don't actually have to worry about the wall change mechanic, because the wall change mechanic is based around elemental damage. Ultima is non-elemental. Which means you can step outside of the equation. So again, happy Thursday, everybody. I hope you guys are excited for the Switch. I hope you guys are also, if you haven't already gotten it, this is my question that I want in the comments. So, how many people are going to get a Nintendo Switch and are excited for it? See, there you go. That was our Ultima, and boom. How many people are excited and are going to get the Switch? And then also, how many people have gotten Horizon Zero Dawn? because if you guys haven't seen my Drak tries of it, I am absolutely ecstatic about that game. Okay, so now that we've taken care of the Magimaster, that technically rules the Tower of Fanatics as complete. Except one tiny little problem. Warp is not available in the tower. Yes, you have to walk all the way back down. I can already feel a bunch of you falling back out of your seats. This is true. This is a natural reaction. It's okay. Thankfully, though, your buddy Drak's got you covered. You guys remember in the previous video that we did actually go up manually up the Tower of Fanatics. I want to be able to show you how long it takes. But this time around, your buddy Drak's got you covered. We are going to be doing a little bit of a magic cut in a few minutes, just to cut out some of the excess, because we don't really need to go down every single floor for you to get the experience. You've already gone up the tower. In the meantime, I'm just going to sit back and talk to you guys. So I hope you guys have also enjoyed the videos that I put up this week. Just to kind of give a quick rundown, we've obviously had 2 Tales of Drakfoos. One is coming out tomorrow, where we finished up Grizzly Hills, we started up Zuldrak, no relation, and we continue on in Zuldrak on Friday. We've also had a Dungeons and Drakfoos for the Blood Furnace, the second instance in Outland that we're taking on. We've also had a review, or a check-in review anyway, for Resident Evil 7. And people were already wondering when the second review is coming. Wait until this afternoon, and you'll get my review of Double Dragon 4. I'm finally going to get around to that one. I've already done a try for it, so you guys can check out what my thoughts are at 2 o'clock. My time, anyway. Trying to think, what should I go by Eastern or should I go by Pacific? Let's go by Pacific. So I think it would be 3 o'clock Pacific. 3 o'clock Pacific. So you guys can check it out then. And then that would be noon Eastern. You guys can check that out. That's going to be the second review for the week. And then also the second try is actually going to be happening on Saturday. And that's going to be a Drak Tries of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I am very excited to be able to do that. Let's see, what else have we covered this week? Oh, and then we also did the Drak Tries for Horizon Zero Dawn. And that literally came out yesterday afternoon, so you guys can check that out. I had an amazing time with it. In fact, it really makes me sad that I couldn't just go back to playing it, but I needed to finish up reviews. Double Dragon 4 was done, but I need to finish up my review footage and final thoughts for Candleman's pretty much done, and then I also need to get For Honor to you guys before I can even worry about Horizon Zero Dawn, and then eventually to Legend of Zelda. So, lots there. And then tomorrow, obviously, we will have Tale of Drakfoo and also my thoughts on, or my vlog on episodes 9 and 10 of Voltron Season 2. Lots of stuff to look into, and I hope you guys enjoy it as we go along. Thankfully, though, and I have no problem admitting this has been a busy week, so next week is probably going to be a little bit lighter on the stuff. We're going to return back to Gaming with the Geeks. We're also going to get my review of Candleman out next week, so you guys can check that out. I don't think there's going to be a try next week. Nope. Actually, now that I think about it, no, because the next thing I think on my list is in April. So it's going to be a while, but we've got lots of stuff for you guys to be able to enjoy, because that week will also be the wrapping up of Voltron Season 2, and just in time for Iron Fist to start up in April as well. So I already know a few people have been asking, so when is Diablo 2 going to start airing? I'm actually working on the footage right now, and as you can see, I did a little bit of a magic cut. I cut out some of the floors, so we didn't have to worry about that. When is Diablo 2 coming? I'm still recording material, so it's going to be a while. Plus, I just barely got some brand spanking new material for me and Aldo's playthrough of Resident Evil that I want to get to you guys, and also we just barely started up Devil May Cry with Brinton. So there's tons of stuff that I want to be able to get in you guys' hands. Also, I'm hoping to have at least a little bit of a lighter week next week, so that I can make some more additions to my office, as well as finish up some PC upgrades. That's going to be happening from time to time. I'm sorry. I know I'm really trying not to have that interfere too much with the flow of the channel, but there are some parts that actually do need to be replaced fairly soon. And also, I've got a special side project because I am also working on an upgraded PC for the Shadow Blazer. So for those who are fans of his channel, and check him out, I've been working on an upgraded PC for him so he can get better content to you guys. So you guys can look forward to that, as well as for Dragon Shadow, because I think that will also be beneficial for us. Now, people might be wondering what I'm doing at Figaro Castle. This is actually the final side dungeon that we're going to be taking on, which you have to use Figaro Castle to access. So people might have noticed when we were in the World of Balance, the previous world, the whole world, Figaro would bounce between the Figaro area and the Colingen area fairly easily. Now it gets stuck. And that's actually a good thing. Give it a second. There we go. Now it gets stuck on an unusual stratum, and because of that, we actually get access to a side dungeon called the Ancient Castle. So we are actually going to be checking that out, because A, there's a dragon here that we need to take care of, and there also is an Esper for us to procure. Technically two, but for people who have played Final Fantasy VI, it's really one. You can procure the Odin Esper here, but it's actually more beneficial to upgrade it here. You can actually upgrade Odin to Raiden and eventually get a better spell out of it, because the way I understand, like, if I remember this correctly, Odin gives us Meteor, but Raiden gives us Quick, and Quick is a better spell. I can't remember right off the top of my head what it does. It's not Haste 2. Crap, that's going to bother me now. But, yeah, you want to be able to get Quick instead of Meteor, because we're far beyond the point where Meteor is a relevant spell to us because we have Ultima. I mean, if you want to be a completionist, you could do that and then come back and get Raiden and get Quick, but I'm just bypassing Meteor at this point. And then we're actually getting ready to wrap things up for Final Fantasy VI. Like I said, this is the last side dungeon. We will have one other errand to go run before the final dungeon. It's just, we actually missed a dragon, and so we're going to go get that because I haven't gotten it yet. But after that, we are heading into Kefka's Tower to finally finish the game and move on into what is considered to be the most popular of the Final Fantasy series, Final Fantasy VII. So you guys can look forward to that in the next couple of weeks, because I think Kefka's Tower, it's not going to be a walk in the park. It's not going to be like one episode and we're done. Kefka's Tower is pretty complex, so it's going to take 2 or 3 episodes, I think, and then we will be done. And this will be officially, when it's completed, the longest Final Fantasy playthrough that we've had on the channel. I'm not excited about that, and the main reason is because they get longer from here. Certain ones will get a little bit shorter, maybe, but I can already tell you, I think 7's longer than 6. 8 and 9, maybe. 10... They're all comparably long. But I think 7... Honestly, I think 7 will be longer than 6. 5 is probably the longest we've had, but thankfully, because of a lot of the grinding, we were able to cut that out. And now 6 is the longest video on the video series on the channel. With, you know, if I'm going to make an actual assessment, I think we're going to get 50 plus videos on 6, and then we're going to be done. So you guys will have a lot to look forward to. And then like I said, so next week is going to be fairly light, and it's just so that I can get some upgrades done and some cleaning, things like that done in the office. Kind of like what I did just before the holidays last year. I want to try and do that now as well, because there's plenty of content for you guys to go check out. And frankly, we have so much more in store for you after that. Because, I mean, we're going to have a Why We Geek next month. We're going to have a very unique Let's Play happening near the end of March. That's going to be happening with me and Andrea. So you guys will have a lot to look forward to. And it's also another Square Enix franchise, so you guys can look forward to that. I'm trying to think of any other business that I need to take care of for the channel. Oh, actually, you know what? I need to take care of this. So, I actually tracked down the release date for Mass Effect Andromeda because I couldn't remember it the last time we talked about it. And I've just decided, given where I'm at in Mass Effect 3, I am going to continue on in Mass Effect 3, but I will be doing a Drak Tries for Andromeda. And if I do a Tries, there's most likely going to be a review. So, I know a lot of people have written back to me and said, you don't need to know 3's plot to be able to understand Andromeda, and I get that. That's why I'm saying I'm not going to stop 3. I still want to finish that up, and I still want to get the story going behind that. But at the same time, I understand you guys' argument. You want me to try out the newest in the Mass Effect series, which we will do. And people have already asked, like, how am I going to try it? I have all the Mass Effect games on Xbox consoles, so I'm going to stick with tradition. I actually think that BioWare works really, really well with Xbox. Kind of like a good portion of Japanese developers work really well with Sony. So I usually tend to stick Sony with them. Square Enix, for example. Capcom is another one. Where I tend to purchase like Resident Evil games or Devil May Cry on PlayStation consoles. So that's going to be the case here. I'm going to stick with Xbox One and enjoy Mass Effect Andromeda that way. Also, somebody was asking, and I need to address this, if I'm going to do a full review of the Switch. I've decided against it, and the main reason that I have is what I've actually considered doing with the Switch is waiting until the year's over. Now, I already know a few people are already asking this question. Why wait until the year's over? Because really the main issues and qualms that I have are not necessarily with how it will play. It's the games that are going to come out for it. And I know a few people are going to bounce back and go, well, we already know what the games are that are coming out this year. We don't entirely know that. The big conventions haven't necessarily happened, and we could easily have a bunch of release dates happen in that time. So at that point, I've actually considered doing a Switch review, like year-in review. Basically to say, is the Switch doing what Nintendo needs it to do in its first year? I know that's a little hard to classify because it's not like its first fiscal year, but we're having it coming out in March, so we have a good year with the Switch to be able to say, okay, is it doing what Nintendo wants it to do? So that's what I'm thinking of doing, is like waiting for a year-in review kind of thing. Seeing how many Switch games I actually do review, and kind of giving my final thoughts on whether or not I think this was a good idea from Nintendo or a bad idea. Feel free to leave a comment and let me know whether or not you think this is a good or a bad idea. I'm more than willing to be receptive to you guys' commentary on it, as I have in the past. I mean, because of you guys, I took on 3 more reviews than I thought I was going to. Like, I didn't have any January reviews. I was set for For Honor being my first review of the year. And then people brought to my attention Candleman and Double Dragon 4 and what was the other one? Power Rangers Mega Battle. So, because that was coming out in January. And so at that point, honestly, my first review was probably going to be For Honor. And now I've got 3 other games that you guys can check out reviews for. That's how you guys help the channel, and that's how I'm thankful. You guys come up with ideas just as much as I do. Nuke these guys out, and continue on into the ancient castle. And also, people did want my opinion on, or to see if I had at least a check-in for either World of Final Fantasy or Final Fantasy 15 yet. I do not. I have been so busy, I have not been able to play either that much, and so I don't really have varying opinions on either of them, but I am planning to make that I'm planning to change that because I really do need a little bit more off time. Not to say I don't enjoy making videos, but at the end of the day, rest and relaxation is an important thing, and so I'm looking to rearrange my schedule so that I can actually have a cutoff time at the end of the day that's not just, you know, a couple hours before bed. So I can actually do stuff that I want to be able to do, like play the old games that I used to do reviews on these videos for. Funniest thing, I actually started up Mass Effect 3 during the Final Fantasy VI playthrough, and I just haven't gotten back to it yet. So that's just one of those things that needs to be fixed. Not only that either, I haven't gotten back yet to Assassin's Creed 4, Sly Cooper. A lot of people want to know my opinions on Sly Cooper, and I have not been able to get back to that. And then now there's a bunch of new games that I want to get to, like I Am Setsuna, World of Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 15, which I would like to give them their due time as well. So it's definitely something that I've wanted to be able to do. Plus, rest and relaxation is important because then I don't get sick as often, and then I can also continue to have like a steady flow of creative thoughts and new ideas coming to the channel. So this is just better for everybody. There we go. I love having these discussions with you guys because then I just dry out my throat and I continue to have things I want to talk about. I love the fact that the Final Fantasy series has become my own like personal podcast, like my own personal diary kind of thing. I like the idea because it lets me be personal with you guys. What the? So yes, this is the ancient castle. It's been preserved for millennia, ever since the War of the Magi. Underneath this stratum. And now we've unearthed it, so now we can check it out. What's this? Oh no! Somebody's casting spells! Oh no! It's an Esper attack! Let's show him some of our Esper magic! That's how you know it's the War of the Magi, is because the humans can use magic. 1,000 years in the past, a battle was waged here. Okay. And then only Odin is here. Are your wounds healed? We're fresh out of options. We'll have to leave this battle in Odin's hands. Well, it's good to leave it in the Allfather's hands. He always handles things really, really well. I mean, he selected Thor. Whoever so holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. A city ruined during the War of the Magi. Yep. Glad you caught on, Terra. And there is the Odin sprite. Adam Edge! Schmack! Shwink! That's how awesome Odin is. And nothing's really changed over the many, many years. Oh, but this one's a little bit stronger. No, Odin, you can win! Atom Edge! Oh no, it didn't work the first time, which means it won't work anymore. And for that... Oh no, Odin's been turned to a statue! Don't do it! You can't turn me into magicite! Why not? Because that's what we're gonna collect, you know. We're coming to collect the Odin magicite, so... There's an ancient legend. It tells of a battle between Odin and a powerful sorcerer that took place in a great hall of the castle. Okay. Well, that's where we're at. This is the ancient castle where you can procure the Odin Esper. And of course, it's fair game for random encounters as usual. Welcome to a Final Fantasy game. Okay, so we're just basically gonna nuke the crap out of people. Because why not? And yeah, there really isn't much more business to go over, so thankfully we are getting near the end of Final Fantasy VI. I'm very happy about that. But it's getting to be about that time, so we'll go ahead and call it for this week. When we get back, we will finish up the Ancient Castle, and we will move on to Kefka's Tower.